Greetings from the Gaia Eagle Wolf Healing Circle. This is Wolfgang. I have been conducting about 500 to 1,000 past life regression and other work where people are in an altered state of consciousness. And I have learned a lot in this work that I could not read in books about. And one of those topics that is very dear to me is that about ghosts. And that is not a question whether there are ghosts or whether there are not ghosts. No, this is about how do they affect your life and what you can do about it. So, what are ghosts? You probably all have heard from somebody, even in your real life, that had a near-death experience. And many times those people describe how they suddenly find themselves floating above their body at the scene of the accident, or in the hospital, seeing their body below them, and being able to hear what the nurses and other people are saying around them. And they can float around, they can float through walls and overhear conversation, they can read, all that without a brain, without ears, without physical eyes, and it is sometimes quite confusing for them. And many of them also report seeing like a shaft of light, a tunnel of light, a column of light. And some of them have been in the light, but then of course those that came back have been told to go back. They had some work to finish here on this physical world. And so in the case that a person is floating above their body, technically they are a ghost, but of course they still can go back into their physical body. Once the connection to the physical body is severed, and there is this famous silver cord, it is like an umbilical cord connecting the subtle body to the gross body, but once that is severed, the person will not go back into that body. And if they do not go into the light for some reason or another, they will stay earthbound in the lower astral planes, which is a dimension or a vibrational level just above the physical level. Some clairvoyant psychic people can see in those levels. Some can see there all the time, and some can see there sometimes. And so these earthbound spirits are not supposed to be here. They're not equipped with any organs to digest life things, stuff, to have life force, and so they are forced to absorb energy from humans. And this can be quite draining for a human. Everybody that has been in a waiting room in a hospital probably felt very drained, because hospitals are crawling with ghosts, the ghosts of those that have departed, and it's a good feeding ground. Of course, in a waiting room in a hospital there are a lot of unhappy people, a lot of unhealthy people, or people in anxiety. So it is not to be a good place to begin with. The only time when a ghost can enter a human body is when the human is going through some heavy trauma. This can be due to intoxication, heavy drugs, strong alcohol, poisoning, anxiety, depression, very angry, anything that would be considered a very low vibration can assist a ghost in entering a person. Of course, there is surgery. In surgery, people are wide open, which is also very, very important. A lot of people catch ghosts doing surgery. And we can generally tell when there is a change in personality, suddenly when there are pains that have not been there before, when there's a neck pain or back pain or a pain in the leg where there is no real cause for it to be there, and which suddenly disappears, after a traumatic event. That is a telltale sign for a ghost having entered the body. But there can also be changes in personality. Let's say suddenly there's a certain preferences for a certain type of intoxicant like alcohol or other things, or there could be a new attraction for different types of food, or that suddenly the partner is not appropriate anymore for certain reason. There's a dislike of the partner. And those influences are affected by the ghost to, let's say, a telepathic influence. They can send us thoughts, and most untrained minds would assume that it is the own thought created by the own persona and not by somebody else. And so those thoughts that come into the mind, are taken then as self-generated, and many times can follow and change the personality of a person. But how do we really know that a ghost is inhabiting us? And there are systems like a pendulum. There is kinesiology, or you go to a healer, or somebody that's clairvoyant, or has others great spiritual knowledge, and they should be able to tell you about it. I can tell you about it. Then you get in touch with me. One easy way for a ghost to influence a person is to just take advantage of their vices. If a person has the vice of becoming very angry, they just have to instigate angry thoughts, and that will get the person going, maybe to distract a person. Or if they have certain addictions like food, it will be very easy for the ghost to induce them to eat more than what is good for the person. And the advantage for the ghost is that they can enjoy the food through the senses of the person that they're occupying, and that is one of the main reasons why ghosts invade people. As a ghost, they cannot taste wine anymore, they cannot have sex anymore, they cannot take drugs anymore, and they crave those experiences, and the only way they can satisfy them is by inhabiting a host body. And so a person that has caught a ghost will most probably change their behavior. Now, I also found in my work that there are certain groups of ghosts, certain types of ghosts, that can follow us and affect us in many, many lifetimes. And I have hardly found anybody that was not affected by their influence. And one type of ghost I call the enemy ghosts. I call enemy ghosts entities that in past lives died, and when it was time to go into the column of light, to go into heaven, decided not to go. And they decided not to go because they wanted to settle a score, and that person was you. All the past life enemy ghosts that we have been are angry for a certain reason. We might have killed them in battle in past lives or in this lives. A lot of veterans are suffering from ghosts, the ghost of the ones that they killed that come visit them every night or every time their mind goes idle, and they should appease those ghosts or come to me. And but some people have tortured, or some people have been very cruel, or there are other reasons for revenge. Maybe we abandoned people, or all kinds of reasons are there that somebody is so angry at us that they rather than going to heaven will hurt us. And so this enemy ghost will try to affect people that have influence on your life telepathically, that do not have to enter their body. They can, in extreme cases, jump into the bodies of people that are intoxicated and attack you like that. But they have to be quite sophisticated. But in generally, they just affect people around you, or maybe sometimes also your own mind, with negative suggestions, trying everything they can to hurt you.